Alright, so tonight's round 2 of trying to clean off my gasket before I go ahead and install my rear main seal. And this is what I've done so far. Coming out pretty good. But I only got so far last night after working on it for over an hour, close to an hour and a half. And I just going at it with a metal spatula. And this stuff is pretty tough. It feels like a paper fiber. It has some kind of coating on it, and so it's coming, but it's just not coming very quickly. So I picked up a can of this stuff. What is it? It's permatex gasket remover. So I'm going to put that on there, let it sit for a few minutes, and then see if it makes it any easier, since I'd like to get this done tonight and even possibly start working on my rear main seal tonight, since it's supposed to rain possibly starting as early as tomorrow night. So don't want to have to be doing this in the rain, so hoping that this makes a quick work of getting the seal off. Alright, so everything's good and coated. Brushed it on. Now this thing is a mess, and part of that's because I was upside down, and so it obviously leaks down, and if you put any pressure on this at all, which is kind of nice, it will spray out. But if you put too much pressure, then it sprays too much, and then it's just getting everywhere. So be very careful. It doesn't take much pressure on the end of that where the brush is to get it to come out of the bottle. So jizzed all over the place. So it says to let it sit for 15 minutes or so. I'm not that patient, so I'm just going to start working there where I left off. Oh, not quite there. There where I left off, and if it gets easier as I go along, that's awesome. If not, then I'll be out here probably the rest of the night trying to get this off. Alright, awesome. Wish me luck. Alright, so I've been at it for a little while, and I let it, well, I should go here. This is where I started, about here, and I made it to there, and that took me about 20 minutes. And then I just started to, actually, yeah, I made it to there. So from there to there, it took me a little over 20 minutes. So the rest of this definitely had time to sit. And if you were to ask me if it worked, I'd say a little bit. It definitely seemed to loosen up the top layer. I don't know what this is. It's kind of a paperish fiber, I guess, impregnated with something. I don't know. It's a real pain to get off. But it hasn't done what I was really hoping it would do, which is make it so I could just come along, and of course this would just be too easy, come along and just scrape. I get a good angle on that. It's hard to see through the camera, but it hasn't. You know, I'm still just a little bit at a time scraping along. So what I did is I just went through and kind of scraped off the top layer, and actually got quite a bit off that way, and I'll reapply and let it sit while I work on the other side. So I think it helped definitely reduce the amount, because in some places on here most of it's 2 to 3 millimeters thick, but some of it's like 5 millimeters thick. It's super thick, so I'm thinking that just needs more time to break through. So I scraped off the top layer, I'm going to reapply. While it sits, I'm going to scrape on the other side and see if I can't get down a couple of layers on the other side, and probably do the same over there.